shocking revelations and notable occurrences from the 6th week of Sean Diddy Combs' federal trafficking trial.
Week 6 of testimony in the Sean Diddy Combs trial, starting off with quite the shakeup.
In a dramatic shakeup to begin day 24 of Sean Diddy Combs' federal trafficking trial, juror number 6 was officially dismissed and replaced after prosecutors raised red flags about his honesty during jury selection.
The judge in the Sean Diddy Combs trial has officially dismissed a juror.
The judge said he gave conflicting answers when asked a pretty basic question.
The juror, a black middle-aged man who initially claimed to live in the Bronx, was later found to have moved to New Jersey, disqualifying him from serving on a Manhattan jury.
So juror number 6 has been dismissed, and what happened is he gave some inconsistent statements about where he lives. Originally during voir dire, he said that he lived in the Bronx. Then he recently told someone at the courthouse that he lived in New Jersey.
Though Combs' legal team objected, accusing the prosecution of trying to alter the jury's racial makeup. Judge Arun Subramanian cited, quote, serious concerns about the juror's candor and insisted race couldn't be a factor in the decision.
The judge also said it would be inappropriate for him to consider race when making the decision as to whether this juror's candor made it appropriate for him to stick around.
With his removal, a 57-year-old white architect from Westchester has taken his place, making the jury slightly older and less diverse. Jury shown explicit messages and videos.
The jury in New York City's most famous trial of the moment, Sean Diddy Combs, viewing real-life footage of the infamous parties, known as freak-offs.
The realigned jury in Sean Diddy Combs' criminal trial was presented with a series of records, messages, and most notably, explicit video footage of the so-called freak-offs. These were presented by summary witnesses Ananya Sankar and U.S. Attorney's Office Special Agent Deliasa Penland, who were called by the government to help clarify previous witness testimony.
More summary testimony where they're outlining the graphs, the charts that we spoke of yesterday, where there are locations, dates, names, flight records of people who were possibly involved in these alleged freak-offs or hotel nights, as Jane testified to last week.
Jurors reviewed documentation supporting a purported meeting between Combs, Cassie Ventura, and male escorts at hotels with travel and lodging expenses and damages charged to Combs' credit card.
The jury saw hotel records detailing a 2012 hotel stay where the rap mogul racked up more than $46,000 in room damage fees, all paid for by Combs' company.
Additional travel invoices and messages from 2012 and 2013 showed Ventura being flown across the country, as well as text exchanges arranging freak-offs with multiple men.
Hotel receipts, credit card statements, travel records that helped give the jury a full picture of how Sean Combs allegedly got her and male to different hotel rooms for the purposes of these encounters.
One 2013 thread showed Cassie asking Diddy whether he had recorded a particular encounter on his phone. The jury was then shown actual video clips from explicit encounters, marking the first time they viewed moving images rather than stills or audio. The jurors donned headphones and watched approximately 10 minutes of video footage depicting the X-rated encounters involving Diddy, Cassie, and male escorts. It's reported that the courtroom fell silent as faint moans from the footage leaked through the headphones. Intercontinental Hotel Incident Records. Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson presented a timeline of records related to the March 2016 altercation at the Intercontinental Hotel between Combs and Ventura. Messages revealed Diddy frantically calling and texting Ventura, while she told him to stay away. Cassie also texted Diddy's former chief of staff, Christina Coram, pleading for help. Around this time, Combs was in communication with former Intercontinental security guard Eddie Garcia, who previously testified that Diddy paid $100,000 to obtain the only copy of the hotel's surveillance footage of the incident. The jury also reviewed Ventura's messages expressing distress in the days that followed. She once wrote to Diddy, quote, "You treat me like Ike Turner," referring to Tina Turner's well-known abusive relationship. Judge warns lawyers. It's said that Judge Arun Subramanian appeared visibly furious at one point during the week's proceedings, as he sharply reprimanded both the prosecution and the defense. The issue was over an online article that seemed to reference information from a sealed hearing about another possible issue with another juror.
Apparently there was an article that discussed an issue that exists with one of the jurors, not the one who's been removed. This is a different issue. It was the subject of a closed proceeding.
Demanding answers, the judge asked the attorneys if they knew the source of the leak, stating bluntly, quote, "Someone is lying." He reminded the court that a gag order had been issued to the government, the defendant, all defense attorneys, and anyone connected to the case. Subramanian warned that further issues, quote, could lead to civil or criminal contempt charges for those involved. Juror sickness causes court cancellation. Sean Diddy Combs' federal trafficking and racketeering trial hit an unexpected pause on Wednesday, June 19th, when one of the jurors fell ill en route to the Manhattan courthouse. According to Judge Arun Subramanian, the juror began experiencing vertigo, prompting his partner to alert the court. As this individual was a regular juror and not an alternate, the judge ruled there was no way to proceed with testimony for the day. When the prosecution inquired whether the illness was likely to be temporary, Judge Subramanian responded that it appeared to be a sudden issue. Trial timeline update. The federal trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs, which began on May 12, 2025, is finally nearing its conclusion after 6 weeks of explosive testimony. Although the proceedings were briefly delayed due to an ill juror, momentum has resumed, and according to prosecutors, they are preparing to rest their case as early as Monday, June 22nd. Their final witness is Brendan Paul, a former assistant to Combs who has taken the stand to invoke his Fifth Amendment rights. However, Judge Arun Subramanian has since signed an immunity order compelling Paul to testify. Once the prosecution concludes, the defense will have their turn to present its case. And while they will call witnesses of their own, sources have told People magazine that Sean Combs will not be one of them, as he is not expected to testify. The defense's case is projected to take place over the course of 2 to 5 days. After that, both sides will deliver closing arguments before it's handed over to the jury, where deliberations will begin immediately. And with no set deadline, jurors will be granted as much time as necessary to render a verdict in one of the most closely watched celebrity trials in recent memory.